Who are you? You look vaguely familiar.
I look stunning. I don't know about familiar, darling.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down all the upcoming Disney live-action remakes.
Part of that world.
For this list, we'll be looking at live-action versions of Disney's animated features that are currently in the works. Some of these are officially in production and development, others have only been announced or rumored. Which Disney live-action remake do you think has the most potential? Let us know in the comments. Peter Pan and Wendy. We've seen numerous adaptations of J.M. Barrie's classic story. What has us interested in Peter Pan and Wendy is the title, which suggests that the eldest darling child will receive just as much attention as the boy who wouldn't grow up.
Oh, Peter, it's just as I've always dreamed it would be.
There's a fascinating dynamic with Peter remaining eternally youthful and Wendy being torn between accepting maturity or clinging to childhood.
Lost but ready.
To grow up. That's why they went back to Neverland.
Neverland.
Yes, but I am.
You am.
Ready to grow up.
With David Lowery of Pete's Dragon and The Green Knight directing, this version could be more experimental and philosophical.
My entryway into this movie was that I've got a classic case of Peter Pan syndrome. I don't want to grow up. Who does? And I thought that was what was going to appeal to me about it. But in making it, in writing it, and then now directing it and seeing it come to life, I've realized that this is a movie about me letting go of that.
The casting also bodes well with Jude Law as Hook, Jim Gaffigan as Smee, and Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell. Speaking of which, is Shahidi reprising her role for Tink, or is that going to be an alternate universe with Reese Witherspoon in the role? The Little Mermaid. After Into the Woods and Mary Poppins Returns, it was only a matter of time until Rob Marshall directed a live-action Disney remake. Marshall's The Little Mermaid seems like a step forward for diversity with Halle Bailey playing Ariel.
Animated version has always been so special to me since I was so small. I mean, it's the reason I would swim. I would be in the pool feeling like I am the animated version of her.
The casting across the board feels spot on with Javier Bardem as Triton, Jacob Tremblay as Flounder, and Melissa McCarthy as Ursula.
And to get to play it and to work with Rob Marshall and just the whole, because I don't get to be in your world of singing and sliding down a clamshell.
There's also Daveed Diggs voicing Sebastian, and he's not the only Hamilton alumnus. Lin-Manuel Miranda isn't just producing, but co-writing new songs with Alan Menken as well. However, we can still expect to hear some classics made immortal by Menken and the late Howard Ashman.
Wish I could
With the Avatar sequel having an under-the-sea theme, we're curious to see how this remake's effects will compare. Snow White. Snow White, of course, commenced Disney's long-standing legacy of feature-length animated fairy tales. While that's a tough act to follow, this remake is pulling out all the stops with the talent involved.
I feel charming, oh so charming. It's alarming how charming I feel. And so pretty that I hardly can believe I'm real.
Rachel Zegler is playing the fairest in the land with Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Director Mark Webb is getting behind the camera, but it's the screenwriters that have us the most excited. Aaron Cressida Wilson of Secretary was the first to take a crack at the script. Shortly after, news broke that Greta Gerwig would also be working on the screenplay. Considering what Gerwig pulled off with Little Women, this version of Snow White could be another innovative take on a story we all know.
I really feel quite happy now.
Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Yet another water-related movie. Atlantis wasn't a huge success when it first came out.
I will find Atlantis on my own. I mean, if I have to rent a rowboat.
Congratulations, Milo. This is exactly what I wanted to hear. But forget the rowboat, son. We'll travel in style.
Thanks in part to its colorful characters and intricate world building, the film has developed a cult following with fans eager for more. Disney may finally deliver with reports of a live-action remake in early development.
I have some questions for you, and you are not leaving this city until they are answered.
This should be taken with a grain of salt, as the original co-directors are skeptical. In 2021, Gary Trousdale said an Atlantis remake wasn't part of Disney's 5-year plan, while Kirk Wise believes it's only an online rumor.
The only rumor of Atlantis being tackled as a live-action movie has been strictly on the internet. I haven't gotten any independent corroboration of that.
I've actually even heard the opposite.
That hasn't stopped the internet from fan casting, with Andrew Garfield as Milo Thatch being a favorite. We know this idea can work in live action given its links to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. The Aristocats.
Monsieur, your name seems to cover all of Europe.
Of course. I'm the only cat of my kind.
The Aristocats was the last animated feature Walt Disney gave the go-ahead before his passing in 1966. Walt's absence could be felt in the end product, as the 1970 film didn't quite have the spark of some Golden and Silver Age classics.
You either are, or you're not.
All right. I'm not.
Oh? It's scandalous.
However, there's certainly a lot to enjoy in the picture, especially the toe-tapping everybody wants to be a cat. There's a solid foundation for the remake to build upon, especially if they land a great physical comedian to play Edgar the Butler, and the kittens deliver on the cuteness. Not much has been revealed about the remake since it was announced in January 2022, although Will Gluck of Easy A and Keith Bunin of Onward are working on the script. Bambi. Between 2016's The Jungle Book and 2019's The Lion King, the CG technology for a photorealistic Bambi remake is there. It's how they tell this story that has us the most intrigued. Although the 1942 classic wasn't without dialogue, much of the emotion was expressed through the music and body language. We'd like to see the remake take the same route, but go a step further. It would be bold for the film to forego the talking animals, approaching the material more like a silent movie or nature documentary.
What happened, Mother? Why did we all run?
Man was in the forest.
Either that, or you could just have The Rock dress up as Bambi.
Now it's time for them to pay. Dearly.
In any case, we hope the film takes an ambitious direction with the Weitz brothers and Andrew Miano as producers. The Black Cauldron. Initially viewed as the film that might kill Disney feature animation, The Black Cauldron seemed an unlikely candidate for a remake.
For uncounted centuries, the Black Cauldron lay hidden, waiting.
As the 1985 film developed a following, Disney reacquired the rights to the Chronicles of Prydain book series. Plans for a live-action adaptation were announced in 2016, but Disney has been quiet about the project's status as of late. With the rights at their disposal, they'll likely move forward eventually.
Welcome, Your Majesty. We're just celebrating our success. Oh, I mean your success. We've made no mistakes this time.
Since Disney Plus launched after the project entered early development, we could see the 5 Prydain novels working as a streaming series. Given the scope of Lloyd Alexander's novels, though, the material is well worthy of the big screen. While readers may prefer a straight adaptation, we wouldn't mind some nods to the animated film.
Could he not lie? Not this time.
Cruella sequel. Disney is producing follow-ups to the latest versions of Aladdin, The Lion King, and The Jungle Book.
In my years, I've seen a lot in this jungle. But that night, I saw something I'll never forget.
Aladdin is even getting a Disney Plus spin-off centered on Prince Anders, because why not? We think the sequel to Cruella shows the most promise.
I'll take it from here. But Cruella was alive.
All right, we should put on some music or something. Lighten the mood.
The project reteams director Craig Gillespie with Emma Stone, who absolutely crushed it in the previous film. Beyond reuniting the same talent, the first film left us on a somewhat ambiguous note. Is Cruella reformed, or will the sequel see her emerge as a full-blown baddie?
So what now?
I've got a few ideas.
Coming off an origin story, the sequel could stick closer to 101 Dalmatians, but told from Cruella's point of view. Or maybe Stone could team up with Glenn Close. Into the Dalmatian-verse, anyone?
Be sure to let me know when the blessed event occurs.
Hercules. On the heels of directing the Aladdin remake, Guy Ritchie is taking on another musical comedy from Ron Clements and John Musker.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
Ritchie isn't the only big name attached, as Anthony and Joe Russo will serve as producers. The MCU talent keeps coming, with David Callahan of Ant-Man and Shang-Chi working on the script. You know, it's funny. The inspiration for superheroes is largely rooted in Greek mythology.
That's ancient history, been there, done that.
When Clements and Musker first made Hercules, though, they saw it as a chance to do a superhero movie. Now, with so much superhero-related talent reimagining the 1997 film, you could argue that things are coming full circle.
In 18 years, precisely, the planets will align ever so nicely.
The Russos have promised that this won't be another shot-for-shot remake, offering a mix of old and new.
The crowds will cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, "This is where I'm meant to be."
Hunchback.
You see that face? You don't forget it. Want something new?
That's you. For sure.
Maintaining the family-friendly Disney brand while capturing the gothic nature of Victor Hugo's novel, The Hunchback of Notre Dame has been described as the most R-rated G you will ever see in your life. If you think the 1996 film was dark for Disney, you should see the stage adaptation, which sticks even closer to Hugo's book. Considering that the stage musical never made it to Broadway, we doubt the live-action Hunchback will go in that direction. If Disney embraces this story's grim roots, though, this remake has the potential to reach uncharted territory.
Who is this creature?
Who?
What is he?
What?
How did he come to be there?
How?
Hush.
Oh.
Clopin will tell you.
Josh Gad is producing and perhaps even playing Quasimodo. Although Gad is known for his comedic roles, we think he can balance the tragedy and optimism required to portray the Hunchback.
Nobody wants to stay cooped up here forever.
You're right. I'll go.
Lilo and Stitch. Let's be honest, there are some live-action Disney remakes that fans would rather see than others.
Well, that'd be a bad idea. These are extremely simple creatures, miss. Landing there would create mass mayhem and planet-wide panic.
For many, Lilo and Stitch is one of those untouchable movies that doesn't need another version. So when this remake was announced in 2018, a lot of people rolled their eyes.
That'd be an abomination!
However, the naysayers might have a change of heart when they hear the director, Dean Fleischer Camp of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Like Lilo and Stitch, Marcel was about an unusual yet adorable creature connecting with humanity, coping with loss, and learning the meaning of family.
There must be so many others like me.
Although tonally different, both films seamlessly blend the ordinary with the extraordinary. If Camp is faithful to the original while injecting his unique flair, this could be a match made in Hawaii.
Yes, he's good. I can tell.
The Princess and the Frog. Despite being considered a success upon release, The Princess and the Frog was somewhat underappreciated. Over a decade later, we seem to be headed for a Tiana-sance with a Disney Plus series in the works, and Splash Mountain being rethemed as Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The next logical step seems like a live-action remake, although Disney hasn't officially announced it yet.
The possibilities are endless, with Tiana stepping into a role as a princess of a land we have yet to visit, and with so much more of New Orleans yet to see.
A while back, the photograph director Stella McGee expressed interest in making a live-action The Princess and the Frog.
Don't you want more than this?
What you mean?
More than what we have.
While this pitch didn't get the project off the ground, Jennifer Lee reached out to McGee shortly after. McGee would thus land a gig writing and directing the Tiana series.
Please, please, please.
If McGee remains passionate about a live-action remake, perhaps Disney will give her the green light.
It's gonna be good.
Robin Hood. Robin Hood is an interesting choice for a live-action remake. The 1973 film put a distinct signature on the story with a cast of anthropomorphic animals. While we could have seen a remake working with an all-human cast, this film is sticking to the anthropomorphic theme.
Oh, Clucky, surely he must know how much I still love him. But of course, my dear.
But with a mix of live-action and CG animation this time. Director Carlos Lopez Estrada has experience in both departments, working on Blindspotting and Raya and the Last Dragon. As much as we adore the original Robin Hood, it's no secret that Disney cuts some corners with recycled animation.
We just sort of borrow a bit from those who can afford it.
Borrow? Boy, are we in debt.
With a bigger budget and state-of-the-art technology, this remake might elevate the material in some respects. And being a Disney Plus exclusive, you won't have to rob the rich to afford a ticket.
Allow me to lay some protocol on you.
No, forgive me, but I lose more jewels that way than... Please sit down.
Thanks, PJ. Couldn't get a better seat than this.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
The Sword in the Stone. Considering how many straight-to-video sequels Disney made, we're surprised that The Sword in the Stone wasn't one of them.
I have the power to see into the future, centuries into the future. I've even been there, lad.
The original left the door wide open for Arthur to fall in love with Guinevere, confront Morgan Le Fay, and assemble the Knights of the Round Table.
Round table? Oh, would you rather have a square one?
Oh no, round will be fine.
Maybe we'll get to see all that in this Disney Plus remake. Where the 1963 film had a comedic edge, we imagine the remake will take a darker turn, given director Juan Carlos Fresnadillo's background in films like 28 Weeks Later. Perhaps the film could even stick closer to T.H. White's 1938 book, which actually included appearances from Robin Hood and Little John. Now there's a crossover. Much remains unconfirmed, but the sword is waiting to be pulled.
Why, they might even make a motion picture about you.
Motion picture?
Oh. That's something like television. Without commercials.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.